right, guys, we are back. We got another episode. This one right here is J. Cole. We are actually about to react to him sitting down with Nadeska at Apple Music. This is going to be interesting, man, mainly because, you know, the Fall Off album is pretty ill. It's like one of my favorite albums of J. Cole's. You know, we haven't seen him in an interview for years. You know, I mean, I can't even remember the last interview I seen him in. But we about to do that. Before anything else, man, make sure y'all like and subscribe. And we about to get into the video. All right, y'all, man, we are about to react to the J. Cole The Fall Off album interview at home and in Fayetteville for Apple Music. So I wanted to check this out because I know that J. Cole has an interview coming up with Cameron on It Is What It Is podcast, and I'm really looking forward to that because of the whole thing with, you know, Cam was gonna take him to court for basically, you know, not being a man of his word and things of that nature. I'm surprised that J. Cole didn't go to Cam first. I mean, who knows? It might have been done. They're probably just releasing it a little bit later. Who knows? But I'm definitely interested to see what's going on. I mean, J. Cole, to me, it doesn't really matter what happened with this whole Kendrick Lamar thing or whatever. I mean, you know, you cannot take the man's skills from him. You know, I feel that J. Cole, hands down, is one of the best artists we've ever had. So I'm interested to see what's going on. So let's check it out, man. Let's start it off.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine?
What is that?
Yeah.
You still got the old.
I can't believe this album actually came out. What are we now, like a month and some change removed? Some people told me, like, yo, they're driving like from New York to Miami and they'll see the Fayetteville exit and they like, just get off, you know what I mean? They come like, take a picture, they'll sign, you know what I mean? Some of these are faded because they've been here for mad long.
So this is actually the beat machine that you got on layaway?
This is the one. I don't know if it's the exact one because somewhere along the line we had to buy another one. But it's not because we lost the original. It's just because like something else we were doing, we needed it. So somewhere along the way, they might have got shuffled. So I don't know if this is the one we bought or if it's the original, but that is the same style at the very least.
So basically, what is this his home or something like that he grew up in? It's crazy because I'm looking at this stuff, man. It's just nostalgic, man. I'm all about nostalgic stuff. I mean, you can just tell by like my background and stuff like that. So I love the VHSs that's in there and the TV, the old TV. They got the old radio. I've seen some vinyl records and things. I mean, you know, I'm an artist myself, so whenever I look at stuff like that, it takes me back to like the first time I started writing rhymes or the first time I heard a certain song and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you know, this is just how it's starting off, but we're gonna continue.
It'd be the exact same one that I had, yeah, that my mom got.
Like we waited, 10 years for this album and to be able to celebrate it here with you at 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I feel like I'm in a J. Cole museum. And you said that you were gonna step out of your comfort zone, which is home, to have some conversations, but you found the loophole and still invited us into your home.
That's a good point. And I am out my comfort zone, I ain't gonna lie, because I can feel it right now. I'm like, oh man, I'm nervous. You know what I mean? Like, strangely enough, but I'm nervous because I'm, you know, like, yo, when the last time I did an interview, you know what I mean? Like,
he's probably nervous because he know them questions is coming. I mean, Nadeska is pretty good with what she do.
That long, because after all the things you've been through, I'm surprised to hear that sitting down in this space in your childhood home can even make you nervous.
Yeah, I guess. I think it just literally has to do with the fact that, like, yo, this is not my norm. Of course, this house, if I was just here in this house, I actually came.
Michaela, get the baby. She is ruining my video. Get her, please.
Last time I was here was, we did something like this. There's a trailer we shot that was set up similar to this. But, you know, months after that, we were making like a big decision on the album. And I had like a big decision to make, and I was like, you know, a lot of times I get in a space where it's like, yo, I need like clarity. I'm like overwhelmed, and like I got like, you know, the weight of the album is on me, and all of these decisions that got to be made. And at that time, I think it was like track list in order, because
Hey, sorry, I'm pausing so much. I'm just trying not to get flagged, but who knows, man? You know, might get flagged, might not.
as we've been making this album throughout the years, we've had a running, living, breathing like track list that like some things stay, some things fall by the wayside. New songs come in, old songs go out. Sometimes old songs come back, but this was at a point where it was like, oh, yo, we're really here, we're mixing. You know what I mean? But there was something about the beginning of the album that like wasn't sitting right with me. And sometimes I just got to go get like some solitude to like get clarity. And so I was like, yo, should I go to New York? Should I post in New York? I do that a lot. I'm like, nah, like I need to go back to Fayetteville and I need to come. And as long as I've had this house and as many times I've been in here and been back, I haven't stayed the night here. And mad long. So at one point last year, I had to just come, and it was like my first time staying the night.
You know what? I don't mean to cut them off, but with me, you know, I never grew up in a house. You know what I mean? I mean, I grew up like in apartments and stuff like that. So I don't have that connection with like a childhood bedroom that I had forever, or you know, like a backyard and you know, like things like that. So I would have loved to be one of them kids to be able to come home as an adult and see like things from my past, or you know, and things that reminded me of my childhood or something like that. I mean, I think that would be cool. So, but just from how he's looking, it looks like that was something that he needed to do to get himself together when it came to get his thoughts together while he was processing making the album. You know, so let's get back to it.
And like I literally had to like buy a bed, you know what I mean? The bed that they bought, well, not me, I didn't buy a bed. I had someone, yo, can y'all get a bed and throw it in for us, job? And the bed that they bought is it was like a king size. That shit don't fit in my
Takes up the whole room.
You saw my room.
Yeah, that looks like a twin size space.
That's a twin. That's a healthy twin. You might could fit a medium in there, but it's like they got a king size, so it wouldn't fit in my room. You know what I mean? So like they put it in my mom's room, my mom and my stepdad's room. And so like for the first time in a long time, I'm staying the night here. And for the first time in my life, I'm sleeping in my parents' room in a sense. And it was mad weird. But that trip did actually like give me clarity that I was looking for. And like I had an aha moment, and it was a big like breakthrough. You know, I called Eve. I think, did I call Eve or did he come down too at some point? But either way, we figured something out. That was like, that's it. We'll start it like this, then we'll go here. So I've been back here and I'm more comfortable in this house, but it's the interview setting where the beginning of this, I'm like, oh shit, I kind of feel it.
I feel you. There's nothing normal about two people sitting here and having a conversation. We haven't done an interview in at least 15 years, and there's a whole crew behind us. No, it's not normal.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's cool. This is all family here.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, I'd feel weirded out too if I was in my old house or old apartment and I'm sitting down like on the couch and people are around me and cameras and things like that. I mean, that would feel kind of weird because it's like this is a place where you had memories and family time and different things probably happened. You know what I mean? He probably lost his virginity in this house. Who knows? You know what I mean? But yeah, that would be kind of weird. I do feel I can you can look at his face right there, like he looking around like, man, yeah, this shit is weird, you know.
And I think a lot of people here who are really excited to make this moment happen. You know, it's been it's a celebration of your career and this album, and there's so many reasons why it's perfect to do it here. Like this was, as we can see behind us, the birth of J. Cole, the artist, and also really Forest Hills Drive. When you released that album, the success you felt, the success you experienced, the relief you felt, and the comfort you felt after is really what birthed the idea.
Hey, yo, to the people out there, like, leave in the comments what your first J. Cole song was that you heard. First album that you actually probably listened to. To be honest, I can't even remember I'm trying to remember my first J. Cole song. I mean, I know I heard his first song on the radio. I just can't remember exactly what it was. I thought he was an ill rapper, but I didn't know if he was gonna have the longevity that he has. But yeah, leave it in the comments. Leave in the comments.
For the fall off. So
Yeah.
if that's what you were feeling at that time, comfortable to the point that you were thinking about the fall off, I'm wondering how you feel now that this album is actually out in the world.
That's a good question. It's funny because it's like, yo, what are we now? Like a month and some change removed. So it's like, if we had this conversation fresh when it dropped, you know, I might have been more clearer in my feelings because I was in it. You know what I mean? I had just got done mixing it. You know what I mean? We pressed it out. We sent it up to vinyl with prayers that it wouldn't leak. You know what I mean? And then we pressed the CDs. And then we putting the birthday blizzard out, and like I'm in it. You know what I mean? And like I'm fully in the releasing of this. And then even when we put it out, we went on the road, and I'm in it. Now a month later, and it's like, yo, I'm like back in my regular scheduled program, you know what I mean? And like, I feel every day I get further away from like being in it. I listen to it, you know what I mean? But it's tough for me to answer the question. How am I feeling right now that it's out?
And I mean, it doesn't have to be today or yesterday, but the general feeling, because I think after each project you've released, there's been feelings.
Right.
So my thing is this, right? I don't know if he said this was his last album. I know T.I. said he about to do his last album, and my thing is this, man. Like, as an artist, I don't even know how y'all can even fix your lips to say that out of your mouth. I mean, you might be, you might at this given moment might not feel like writing music. You might not have a motivation, but I feel like eventually you will. I mean, this is not one of those, I don't feel like music is one of them things that you can just run away from. I feel like you'll always have a feeling to come back, or something is going to happen to make you want to step back in that booth. Not even for the money aspect of it. You know what I mean? Just realistically, because you're an artist and you like to create. And to me, that's what this is about. I mean, you don't hear Steven Spielberg or Michael Bay or any of these directors, producers, or anybody else in any type of art who comes outside of hip hop artists, to me, always talking about they're gonna retire after this last album or whatever. Like, hip hop is barely over 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's not at a point to where anybody has been in there long enough to retire, except like a select few, But yeah, I hope this isn't his last. I hope this isn't his last project. But yeah, I don't understand artists when it comes to that. Now let's get back to it.
Sideline story, it wasn't necessarily a positive time in your life. You didn't enjoy it. After Born Sinner, you still felt like Cool I survived, but you weren't necessarily happy. You felt the darkness. And after Forest Hills Drive, that was one of the highest points in your career, right? Mm-hmm. You made a project you were really happy with.
Yes.
And then culturally, it also hit. So that was a high point. So I guess I mean on a macro scale.
One was like relief, you know what I mean? Like relief, like yo, we did it. Like putting it out. I saw some footage the other day. Like we have like a bunch of footage from studio sessions, and like I was combing through it, and I'm looking at all the, I'm in the studio, got T-Minus right there, Diesel, and it's like the stuff we're working on. It's the most minute decisions. You know what I mean? It's the most like granular level decision making that in the moment, of course, it's all important, and I'm fully immersed in it. You know what I mean? And I'm fully like yo, this is the most important decision, the one we're making right now. And as I'm looking back on the camera, I'm like, or at the footage, I'm like, yo, I can't believe this album actually came out, because there was so much decision making happening that I feel like at times looking back, there were times where T-Minus, I ain't really asked him this, but I'm assuming there were times where him and other people that were involved were maybe in their minds like, this shit ain't coming out. Because there was so much, songs that never made the album, music on certain songs that never made the album. So like, I feel like for the past however many years, I was carrying the mission, the weight of the mission. So the overall feeling is when it came out, it was like, yo, relief. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, like I don't have to necessarily carry that no more. And there was a pride too, you know what I mean? There was like yo, you did it. You know what I mean? There was like a genuine gratitude.
All right, yeah. So I understand where he coming from. In the process of creating an album and things of that nature. Um, he he basically is saying that the most minute decisions could basically you know turn the album into something else more than likely. I mean, that's where I think that's what I think I'm gathering up for it from it. Um, but and I understand, like, I mean, I think anybody who records albums, you record a lot of songs and you kind of try to choose from the ones that you feel are gonna make the album complete. Now my thing is that when people do that, I be wishing that, okay, cool, what about those tracks that you ain't used? You know what I mean? Like, are you just gonna put them out as singles, or are you gonna give them to the fans and mixtapes or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like to use the word mixtapes. Just put it out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I feel like they should have, like, you should have like you should basically set up an album or a series or something of cuts that didn't make a particular album. You know, because people will kind of see, like, what people will know what time frame it was made in. You might have said something that was relevant to that time. Like, I think that would be cool. But especially because you're J. Cole or whoever you is, I think a lot of artists need to do that. And I'm a big fan of people even making like music videos to like songs that they never made it to, even if it's like an old album. Just make a music video for a song and release it. I feel like that'll bring another level. It'll resurface a song that you literally should have did a video to anyway. But let's get back to it.
I mean that, like, that I made something that when I listen to, I'm a fan of this. You know what I mean? Like, I told somebody the other day, it's like, yo, I feel like I'm listening to my favorite rapper. At many points in my career, especially early on, I was my favorite rapper. You know what I mean? Like, of course, growing up,
Yeah.
Pac was my favorite rapper. I had a Cannabis run where he was my favorite rapper. I had an Eminem run. You know what I mean? Of course, I had a Nas run. I had all of these runs of people being my favorite rapper. And at a certain point, when I hit my late teens, early 20s, I started to notice that, like, oh, wait, yo, even if I wouldn't say it out loud, it's like, yo, I'm my favorite rapper. How do I know? Because I'm always listening to myself. You know what I mean? I'm listening to myself like how I would listen to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm rapping along with it, boom, boom, with nobody in the car. That's why when I met Eva, was so ill, and when we started kicking it, and then he found out I did music, because I found somebody that, like, was as big of a fan of me as me almost. So, like, we'd be riding like through Queens or on the way to the city or something. He'd be like, yo, throwing that come up freestyle, or throwing the such and such. Like, he just want to hear it. And I'm like, nigga, I'm glad you said it, because I wanted to hear it too. So there was also
Yeah, I feel him on that. Like, just having that type of confidence in yourself and believing in yourself, man. I think that's the most important part of becoming successful. A lot of times people try to run away from themselves or liking themselves in certain aspects. I mean, some people can look at it as arrogant, cocky, or whatever. I don't call it any of that. You know what I'm saying? I've always told people, like, I'm not arrogant. I just have arrogant confidence. That's something that I live by. It's one of those things that keep me moving. Looking in the mirror sometimes and smiling at yourself, smiling at myself, like, hey, cool, bro, you looking nice today. Yeah, I mean, I do that type of stuff just to kind of keep myself aligned with what I'm striving for, what I believe in, because you in this world nowadays, man, you can't be focused on what everybody else is doing or if they like you or not. Even when I'm doing this channel, I don't do it for the people who don't necessarily like it. If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. It doesn't matter. I do this for the people who fuck with me, and if you don't, hey, it is what it is. I leave a comment, cool. Help the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter to me. But long story short, yeah, man, I understand what he's saying.
Feeling on top of the relief and there was a gratitude of, like, damn, I made it back to a point after all of these years where I was my favorite rapper, because there was a stretch where, I was I can't necessarily say that. And not that I was trying to be even my favorite rapper. I was making whatever was coming out because I just felt like that's what I had to do. But the whole mission of the Fall Off, in a nutshell, I didn't say it like this 10 years ago, but the mission was to become again a rapper that like I want to hear. You know what I mean? To make the music that I want to hear, to write the verses that I want to hear, to make the album that I want to hear. So there was a gratitude of like, damn, like even on the way here, I had an hour drive here. It's like I'm playing the album and I'm rapping along with this shit. Like it's not me. That if you see me rap an Outkast album or a Jay-Z album, like I'm sitting there rapping my own album like that, and that hasn't happened for a long time. Not because I don't like the music that I put out, or I'm not proud of it. I love that music that I put out, you know what I mean? But this one was a different mission. Like it was a different type of return to form that I was trying to get to. And so to answer your question, it was like a gratitude that like, damn, nigga, like, I like this dude right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get like that too, like doing my own music too. I do music, so I understand that, you know, so like at one point in time, like I used to kind of doubt myself. I used to feel like, okay, man, like, is this sounding okay? Is this like, now I'm at the point to where I'm just trying to be better than myself. You know, it has nothing to do with another artist, ain't got nothing to do with who sounds like whatever nowadays. It's like when I hear a beat, I'm gonna check it, I'm gonna attack it how I want to and film whatever I want to film to it. I mean, it is what it is. So like I understand where he's coming from, because it's one of them things to where you gotta really truly believe in yourself nowadays, you know, and he's a prime example of a person who believes in himself and understands what it takes to move forward in this industry, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta, I mean, yeah, we all got our favorite rappers and stuff like that, but even our favorite rappers, they're their own favorite rappers, you know what I mean? Like they're probably the cockiest people, you know. It's funny, but
Like I like this dude would be my favorite if that wasn't me.
It's nice to hear that, because yeah, there was clearly a lot of time when it seemed like you felt just a lot of pressure, right, to get the music right, whatever that meant at the time, and you weren't enjoying it. I was even shocked to hear that after Friday Night Lights, you didn't enjoy the impact that mixtape had. That was huge, but it's because you were so caught up and always trying to figure out the next move, right?
Yes.
So if this album, the idea was born at least 10 years ago, man, that is a long timeline, and you are notorious self-admitted song hoarder, right? You'll try to keep songs for projects, but I know there are some like Middle Child, maybe False Prophets that were intended for this, but you let go of. So over that 10 years, obviously you dropped multiple albums in between. How were you working on like KOD or the Off Season, all of that, and still making the actual records that made sense for the Fall Off?
Yeah, so I think one was an understanding that like, yo, this idea for this album called The Fall Off is a long-term thing. I didn't think it was 10 years. I thought it was like, you know, mind you, you got to put yourself in. I had just got off tour, Forest Hill Drive tour. I had just got married. That's already a life-changing event. And for the first time, I'm relaxed and comfortable. You know, you know the story. You've heard it before. But like, I recognized in those moments where I was trying to write shit, and I'm like, this shit kind of ass. And it wasn't ass, but it wasn't my favorite rapper.
Right.
Like, if I go back and play these voice notes from that era, now I'm actually like, oh, bro, you was bugging. That shit was dope. But it wasn't the thing that I was looking for from myself at that time. And I know just because I'm like, you know, my mind works in basketball. It's like, yo, you know, if you lose a skill, you have to work to get it back. And so I felt like, okay, you've lost a bit of skill in certain areas. Where you've gained in some areas, you've lost in some areas. So now you got to work to get it back. It'll take time. So I'm thinking the Fall Off is like, man, this is maybe a couple-year thing. So I already was thinking long term. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna make this album called The Fall Off, so I'm gonna be done in a year. I was like, give yourself time to get there, because you're gonna have to put yourself through drills. You have to re-motivate yourself, re-inspire yourself. So I was already thinking long term. While I was thinking long term, I'm still writing and I'm still creating. And it just so happens that the things that I was writing and creating were like what ended up becoming For Your Eyes Only. Like I'm making these songs. It wasn't until I actually wrote the song For Your Eyes Only where all of these other songs that I was making made sense. I'm like, oh, I know I've been telling a story that's not necessarily my own and what I've been writing. And it's not necessarily my favorite rapper. I like this rapper, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's not the fall off level that I'm looking for, but I'm like, I have to follow this feeling. So that was the first thing that kind of like gave me something to do, while the fall off was like a North Star. I'm like, oh, well, I need to go finish this album. I went to New York. Mind you, I had a baby on the way. I didn't have a baby on the way, but you know what I mean? Like, I was about to become a father. And so I'm like, let me go to New York. Like, this is my last time.
Back to Muhammad's crib,
Back
right?
to Muhammad's crib. Like, what's the word? I'm a sentimental, like, person with my spaces that I've, like, in my life, whether it's Fayetteville, whether it's this house, whether it's Muhammad's crib, whether it's the Honda. It's like, yo, I'm like, these are like spaces that I love because I loved my life. You know what I mean? I love my childhood. I love my teens, my college years. So
yeah, man. I mean, I feel him on that, man. Like I feel him on, you know, taking a break due to having family and, you know, a child on the way, just getting married. You know, and I think sometimes you can get in that slump, you know, writer's block, things like that, where, you know, the problem that I feel like a lot of artists had, and I don't think a lot of them admit this, is, you know, when for the past few years, you know, the labels have been flooding the radio with a lot of I'll just say it, trash music. You know what I mean? You have some artists out here who are pretty decent, and I'm not going to say everybody's trash, but there's no substance behind a lot of this music nowadays. You know, there's no feeling behind it. There's no love behind it. There's no storytelling. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like everything that they put on the radio is just for instant gratification. You know, something that's instant. Something like, oh, I got to get this money, or I gotta finesse this nigga for money, or I gotta get this bag, or get this. You know what I mean? It's no creativity behind any of this. So, and it sucks because. And it sucks because, you know, like you got artists like J. Cole's and the Kendricks and the Eminems and the Joyner Lucases and, you know, all of these different people who literally spit on a high level. You know, this hip hop shit is not what they putting out there right now. Right now, I think it's a good time for hip hop because of what's actually going on. You know, like a lot of people, I mean, don't really like to hear the shit on the radio. I mean, right now, you have social media, you have the internet, you got like people are choosing who they want to listen to. You can't really force feed music like you used to. You know, you can try, but it's not going to work. You know, it's like, I feel like they've been killing hip hop. They've been killing killing hip hop, you know, killing our youth also, but killing the integrity of it, like the meaning of it and things like that. You know, I don't even think we had did we have anything on the billboards last year? It was just some crazy shit. But yeah, let's get back to the video. I'm sorry, I'm sidetracking, but you know.
I go to New York to finish this album, and while I'm working on that album, there's some songs where I'm like, oh, this could be a fall off song. You know what I mean? There's False Prophets. There's some stuff they didn't even release where I'm like, oh, these are fall off songs. I'm gonna tuck them while I'm finishing this album. So that was the first thing that went left field. Then after, not in left field, but like kind of took me off track, so to speak. Then after For Your Eyes Only drops, then I become a father. Now that's like it was a beautiful thing, but it's like, it's a life adjustment. You know what I mean?
Kids
like,
do not care about your schedule. They don't give a damn what you have going on.
Facts.
You know, you got to find your time to get in your creative space.
Exactly. And so I had to figure out how was I going to be creative, like within that space. And, you know, I got to motivate myself. And one of the things I was doing at that time was like, I was like making these beats that was like damn near my version of like, I'm trying to learn from Southside. You know what I mean? I'm trying to learn from like these producers, because it's like, you know, I come from a era where the people I looked up to, they hold their nose at certain things. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's the real hip hop producer and boom, boom. And it's if the drums ain't boom bap. But I didn't really subscribe to that. You know what? I come from a cloth of like hip hop where they might hear back then, like all the stuff Southside and them was doing, like 808 Mafia. They might hear them beats and go like, man, all them shit sound the same. They might hear that. My ear goes like, nah, but I know that's not true. And if you're immersed in the world of Future and such, you can hear all of the differences and the subtleties in these beats. You think it's the same, but that's like white people in the 80s or some shit being like, oh, this rap crap sounds the same. You know what I mean? It's no different. They're not immersed in the world, so they can't hear the subtleties or whatever. So I start like practicing with that. And eventually what came out was like, meanwhile, the SoundCloud era was popping at the time. So in a matter of a few days, I start spilling out these songs, not on purpose. I'm just trying to find my quiet moments in the crib as a dad where I can actually sneak away and like go spend an hour working on some music, which is becoming less and less time now that I'm a father. And like in one of those moments where I crept away, and like a 3-day stretch, I did like, I don't know, like 6 to 7 joints, which at that time was crazy because like I wasn't actively working or recording. And the joints, I'm like, yo, these shits got a sound to them and they saying something. They not the fall off thing that I got on my mind, still my North Star, but I'm like, yo, there's something, you know what I mean? And then we take a trip for Your Eyes Only tour is about to start. And I catch another wave in a hotel room and more songs spill out. And before I know it, I'm like, yo, I got like 8 right now in a matter of like 4 days or something crazy. And all of that to say that kept happening. And within a week, I had like 12 songs where I'm like, yo, this is something. And it wasn't on purpose. It was just coming out. So I've just had to have a conversation with myself like, yo, what is this? Like a project, what is it?
Yeah, man. So I understand that. I mean, you know, it's crazy when you think about J. Cole, and there's certain other artists that I know are like that. Like I know who produce their own records. I know M produces his own records. Kanye. I mean, Kanye gets a lot of extra producers to help him too. But I know Hobson is one of those artists. I think T.I. does some production and stuff too. But I say all that to say, like, you know, these guys are different when it comes to building the album, because not only are they worried about the lyrics and the way that they're delivering their words, they're worried they're worried about the sound. The sound has to sound like a certain way, and them being, you know, an artist like him being involved in his own production is that's amazing. You know what I mean? Because it makes you feel the music a little bit deeper, because not only does he put his words behind it, but he actually puts the melody, the music, and everything there too. So that's interesting.